Hello.
So, April, how are you today?
I'm not bad. It's warm here in
Oh,
Los
yeah.
Angeles, and I'm not a big fan of heat,
Okay.
but that's okay.
Mm. Yeah, I can
How
totally
are you?
understand that. You're preaching to the choir here.
I,
Yeah, it's crazy warm here as well.
yeah. I'm so sorry. It's ever so slightly hard to hear you, but hello. Sorry. Yeah.
No, it's okay. But you can hear me, you can hear me well, right?
Yeah, I can hear you now. We're good.
Okay, perfect. So, April, welcome to the show. It is so cool to have you here. And what better way to have a Thursday evening with someone as bad as you? You know what I mean? So yes, welcome here. Before we start, I have to give you a proper welcome. If you have seen some of my episodes before, you know exactly what I'm about to do. If not, that's cool because then I can surprise you. So let me just show you that. So. Epic, right?
Lovely. Thank you. It was so realistic. Like
I know. I mean, you know how it goes. I mean, we're still growing, but at some point we're gonna have live audience. I promise.
Oh yeah, of course. Thank you, though. Thank you very much.
So, yeah. So starting with everything here, tell me how your acting career started.
Well, I suppose it started probably a long time ago when I was in, like grade school, basically. And I was interested in it, and I was like doing those sorts of like opportunities that were available to children who are in school, like plays and stuff. Then once I ended up going to college for acting, I was able to find more opportunities to do films, and I realized that films are just so much more interesting and fun to do. Films are just, I don't know, like theater is great, but I was actually just talking with a friend about how a lot of the people who work in theater I don't always jive super well with those people. And so, it's great to find more people that are enjoyable to work with. And I have found that through doing film.
I like it. I love that. And back when you were recently started, what were some of the challenges that you had? Because I think we all have them, right? Whenever we're starting something new, at first we just don't know what the hell we're doing. So what were some of the challenges that you had when you were taking like those first steps on your acting career?
I think it's funny because when you do theater and then you start doing film, you kind of like start to learn the differences between the mediums, and you start to kind of figure out how to adapt not only your performance, but I suppose your expectations, because theater is very like quickly gratifying. You're doing a scene the whole way through. You're rehearsing multiple times over to really perfect something. And, when you're doing film, that's not the case. There's a lot of waiting. There's a lot of doing something over, but not in order. And, you kind of trust the process, but you have to be able to understand that you don't have that control, and you don't necessarily know how you did until you see that final product. And so trying to like kind of attune myself to that different way of thinking about how you perform was a bit of a struggle, but I feel like in a way it's a lot more freeing than doing theater, because it's almost like you're doing less, and that sounds maybe like lazy in a way, but it's like you don't have to do as much to get as much out of a performance. So yeah, once you like learn that, it makes doing film a lot less of a challenge.
Okay.
Yeah.
So back in 2015 to 2017, you were in projects such as Water, Brace Series, Hey Guys, live stream back from Europe, Reckless, and Audition. I mean, the list goes on, but tell me, were those some of your first projects, and what are some of the things that you learned from those first experiences?
Yeah, well, a lot of those projects were things that students at my school were doing and that I participated in. 2 of those were like voiceover things that I did. And then, you know, I felt like it's really nice to work on film projects with students because, you know, they're learning too. And they also just like, they really want to do a good job. They're really trying to like make something that people can like, you know, see potential in them. So it's like you're working with people who really care, and that's always nice. With Brace, the series, I mentioned this to you how that was it was like a pilot for a web series, and then there was a time, so like they filmed that, then there was a time like chunk while they edited it, and it took a while, and then by the time they were ready to film more, they decided to replace me. And it was very weird because I was like, okay, I guess you know, and it like, it made me feel bad, of course, in the moment, because I was like, holy shit, I just like lost a job that I thought I did perfectly fine on. And, you know, it's like, it's sad to lose a job, of course, but when it happened, like after it happened and looking back on my work, I was like, you know, I feel like I'm proud of what I did. I feel like I did bring the performance that I wanted to. I felt like I did everything that I could have, and that the person they replaced me with, they just wanted somebody that looked, frankly, a little older, like a more mother type of role instead of like the younger girl role. And I mean, you know, like it's hard to get over that, but in a way I had to learn how to just sort of be okay with that, sort like that those things happen, and it's not great, but it's okay to have it happen and not feel like, oh, that means everything about me is like horrible and wrong, you know?
Yeah, totally. Huh? Those bastards, huh? You know, like one of the things that I find it interesting about acting is how, I mean, like how they can change you like this, you know, like especially either in a TV show, film, whatever, that if they just don't, they can just replace you and put someone else. And I bet that as you mentioned now, that it feels weird because you will have to, I mean, you know, you have like those questions, right, that did I do something wrong, or like what happened there, in which sometimes is nothing about you, it's just a decision they took, and that's it, you know. That's so interesting.
And I mean, like, it's that, and that happens. I'm in a business of acting program where I hear people who are auditioning for larger projects in Hollywood who get to these like last levels of the casting process, and then they, you know, they get that taken away from them, or they are the person and they think that they got the job, but then somebody higher up is like, oh, we need to do somebody else. Or you film the whole project and then your part of the film gets cut, or the episode gets cut. So you don't really get to see the thing that you did. And it's like, I think something that kind of makes it a little less of a painful experience is knowing that, you know, there was still something about you that people were able to to realize was worthwhile to cast you in the first place. Or like, you know, you still have the opportunity to say, I built that relationship, and even if somebody went in a different direction, I can still look at that connection and feel like that's I can still feel like that was like a win in itself. It's kind of weird to think about it like that, but then also just like being proud enough of like what you do and what you bring, and not needing to have that validation. Like, of course, external validation is wonderful and feels great, but like, you know, being okay and happy with what you did is like the biggest win, because it's like the biggest flex. Like, I don't really need to be cast, or I don't really need to be the one who like is picked ultimately, because I picked myself. It sounds kind of silly, but yeah.
I like it. Later on, you were in Murder Me Famous. dog would pass,
Yes.
waiting for words. This is a garden. I mean, the list goes on and on. That is really cool. But tell me, like, how you usually prepare a character. Now I understand first that depends on the role, right? But what usually kind of sets you up into this journey, let's say, of character creation?
Well, when I am preparing a character, something I like to do is I like to write as the character. I think that's fun to do, and sort of like because I like writing as me as well. So so being able to get into somebody's mind, I find writing connects that really nicely. And I think also, like you mentioned the Murder Made Me Famous thing, that was, I really enjoyed that. That was one of the best filming experiences I've ever had. And I found, and I was playing somebody who is a real person, and I found like reading material on that person. I found like documentaries. I found just information to just kind of take more and just stuff my brain full of what it was like to be this serial killer. And it was, and it was fun because it just, I don't know, it felt very purposeful. And especially because the people on that set were so great and on top of things, and just like practically like reinvigorated my love for acting. It made it feel like, wow, I really like spent my time well preparing for this, and it was met in a really great way. Hi, Izzy. You're amazing too. I see that. Anyway, yes.
I love it. Now, before we continue, I also have to give an epic shout out to Izzy because she rocks. I mean, those who are watching this right now, you can watch it. You can watch it in the interview I have with her here on Instagram, and make sure that you follow her, leave a mention because she rocks basically.
I work with Izzy, and I work with Izzy. I started working with Izzy as a because I'm a multi-hyphenate, and that's not always like a focus that people's programs provide. You know, it's usually like an acting focused thing, or we're doing writing, or we're doing directing, whatever. And I just have really seen my mental health, I suppose, my mental health and my just ability to like focus on what is like in need of being focused on. It has just totally shifted. I'm like really thankful. And I know, like, you know, maybe if you're here, you're not necessarily here because you're also not to heaven, but maybe you are. And if you are, I would really highly recommend looking at what Izzy does, because it will very much help you.
Oh yeah. She is so cool. Definitely hashtag Team Izzy. For sure. She's awesome. Yeah. So, yeah, back with interview. What are some of the things that you enjoy the most when you are, like in this process of character creation?
Well, I think it's fun whenever you feel like you got it. It's like hard to describe, but like, and like that's a thing that people often find in theater, where they're like, oh wow, I really felt like I was like in that. And that's a thing that people tend to like miss about doing theater, is like, you get, a cat just jumped on my chair. But so when, you don't always get those feelings when you're doing film because of, like I said, the nature of it being out of order and the nature of it being in like perhaps shorter snippets. But whenever you find, like, whether it's when you're preparing and you like find something that clicks, or you're just in that scene with the partner that you're with and you're just really like listening to each other, there's something so weirdly like transformative, and it just is like, oh my god, this is like why I have worked so hard to make this happen. Or this is like I see that I'm affecting people, or I feel affected, and it feels great. That's I think like the reward in doing
absolutely. Yeah, and I think one of the cool things we as the audience, we do appreciate it whenever we can relate somehow with a character, regardless if it's a female or male character. The fact that you can relate somehow with that character that you are creating, that's so cool.
Yeah. And I mean, that's why I keep doing it. And it's hard to, you don't always remember why you do it. And sometimes there's like people that you work with that are like really frustrating and make you want to quit, and then I don't know, you can like feel the like reinvigoration of why you started when those kinds of little moments happen.
Totally. Now, besides having an impressive acting career, you also direct. You have directed projects such as Pulling the Plug on Mom and
Yeah.
Garden. But tell me, like, what are some of the challenges that someone might have whenever it's acting and directing the same project?
So yeah, whenever I will direct things that are like mine, because you know I find I have like a hard time trusting other people to like get what I want.
Yeah.
But like directing isn't my favorite thing to do, but I will do it. And so a challenge of that, of course, is just like being able to like control what you're seeing when you're not actually there. And so it involves like having people who are like a team that you trust and a team that really understands what you want. So that way, when you're not like being the one who's watching, you know, when you're not right behind the camera and you're in front, you know that they're also looking out for you. And it helps to like watch your playback, your dailies, whatever you want to call them. Like, it's helpful to do that too, just to make sure that nobody is like kind of screwing with what you want.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
You also right. I mean, you're basically killing it here. I mean, this interview could be super quick by saying April does everything. She's a badass. Good night, everyone.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
But so some of the projects that you wrote are Pulling the Plug on Mom and This is a Garden. But tell me, like, what usually inspires you to write? Because I understand that it is super difficult. So what usually sets you up into this role of writing, let's say?
So all of those projects have a little bit of a different tone, but so This is a Garden was my first film, and I wrote it because I love young adult types of books. I love John Green. I'm such a I love that stuff. I read a lot, and that is a very favorite genre of mine. And I wrote that about like the struggle of like knowing that somebody that you love has passed away, but like you are now about to live the rest of your life without them, and how does somebody go on like that? And I feel like that film was like very, very personal for me, which I and I'm proud of it. I just shared it on YouTube because it has finished its festival run, and it has like 23 or 4,000 views, and I was like, yeah, I was happy about that. But then for the other films that I've done, Pulling the Plug on Mom is a sketch, and I think it's weird and just fun and silly, and that's been doing really well in festivals right now. We got nominated for Best Comedy Shorts at a festival, Cannes Shorts, so that feels really cool.
Yeah,
to be like, yeah, we're playing in Cannes. And then I'm working on another film. It's in post right now. It's called Butt Stuff, and it is about a sex toy, a sentient sex toy. It's like a butt, and it has a personality, and it's wonderful, and she gets jealous of the relationship that her human owner has with another woman, and so it has like a very Adult Swim vibe to it. I love it so much. Like, it is one of like I'm really proud of it, and it's not quite done yet. It's so close to being finished, but like just the people that worked on it with me were just so stellar, and I just loved it so much. And I've been working on trying to make my crowdfunding campaign, and it's like taking a while because I'm just like I don't know, it's weird because it's something I've never done before, but I'm just very excited to have people see it and like hopefully feel the same passion about it that I do, because I don't know if they will, but I mean, I hope they will.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what it always is like when you share things like that.
But you know, it's like one of the things that I do love is that 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 it's creative work, you know, that it comes from you,
Yeah.
and that is so cool. And I do think that that we need more, yeah, like more creative stuff, especially right now during this whole, you know, crazy days and whatever, to have like more creative stuff on the table. That's amazing, regardless of how funny it might be or weird at some point. You know what I mean? So.
I mean, I noticed like the types of films and shows and whatnot that I like things that are weird, but things that like use weird or silly to get to things that are serious. And like I recognize that all of the things that I've just mentioned aren't always that serious, at least not yet. But those are the types of projects that I like. And so, you know, I'm trying to kind of try to work more on the things that I do actually want to watch. You know,
Yeah.
it's hard to always be the actor who's working on somebody's project that you like, it's fine, but you don't think it's like written very well, or you don't think there's really like the story needs work or something like that, you know, and that's not really your place to talk about with somebody when you're not on the creative team. You're just there to do that one job. But when you are able to do it yourself and do all the jobs, which, you know, sometimes you just have to do. I mean, like I learned how to edit so I could finish butt stuff, and I edited Pulling the Plug on Mom because, again, it's easier to do it when you know what you want. But it just like, it feels good to be able to be like, yeah, I took what I wanted to make, I wrote something weird that I actually find funny, and now I can show people, and hopefully, you know what, if they like it, that's fine. If they don't, whatever, because I like it.
There you go. Exactly.
Yeah.
That is like the main thing here. As long as you like it, you know, you're good to go. I love it. Now, if you could describe a movie in which all of the characters you have played at the moment will gather for a party, tell me, what would be the name of that film? That is like one of the questions on the like that is like one of the questions on the house here. So tell me, what would you name that movie?
So I was thinking about this, and I was like, gosh, I wrote down, and this is maybe weird, but I wrote down, she seems nice, because that's what people often say about me. Like, oh, she seems nice. And that's a lot of the characters I've played. They seem very sweet and bubbly, and then like they maybe are something not quite that. Whether it's when I played Carla Homolka, and she seems like very sweet. I mean, she was called like the Barbie, she was part of the Barbie and Ken Killers, so like Barbie, sweet, he. And like, you know, that's just like a thing I do. It seems like that's my niche.
Okay.
People who seem nice but aren't necessarily bringing their whole selves at the, you realize it later.
I like it. Yeah, it sounds like a mystery film, you know, because you need to know who. Yeah, you want to know why she seems nice, you know. That's cool. I like it. Interesting. We might have an idea here for the future at some point. Who knows?
Yes, maybe. I think it's also like, it's like something that people say that's like kind of sounds like condescending, kind of is like silly, but like, so I don't know, I like the tone that it has, because it's like, oh, what? She seems nice. Yeah,
I like it. Another question of the house here is, if you could describe your career at the moment on a movie, TV show, book, play, even a musical, why not? What would be the title of it?
So I like, do you mean like compare it to something that already exists? Or
let's go for both.
It's so, because it's, you know, this is so silly, and I don't know if this is how accurate exactly this is, but like I love Glee. I loved Glee when it came out. I have seen all of Glee. I've been with Glee since it was like when it was bad, and it kind of never really got good again. But I always really like felt Rachel Berry and her, like, you know, she just like really believes in herself, and like she's kind of a total asshole to people sometimes, and I can be pretty shitty, I know. So it's not like I'm but like, you know, she just has this like way about her of like, I know that I like am destined for these things that I want, and I know that like I belong. And like, even when I don't really feel like I'm like deserving of the things that I want, I can like kind of think of this character who, you know, we aren't exactly the same, but there's like confidence that she has that I kind of like, I can kind of take from. So I will like say that if I was comparing my career to like musical TV show, I'm thinking of her. And it's kind of a weird answer, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I like it. And if you could describe your career now,
Yeah,
on a drink, which one would you pick?
you know, so I'm not a big drinker, but I believe what they like, I feel like, isn't jungle juice like what people just pour a bunch of shit into one thing, and that's what I feel like. It's like I'm like a collection of like all these different drinks that hopefully don't taste bad, and yeah, that's what I'll say. Kind of gross, but you know.
Yeah, I mean,
acceptable.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. That's cool. That's cool. And my last question here.
Yeah.
What motivates you? You know, we all have days like this, you know, in which we want to quit. You know, we think that we should find something more serious or something more stable, let's say. And like getting, like getting to that, like that feeling, it is horrible, right? But like, what gets you out? You know, what pulls you out of it to continue just following your journey on this amazing thing that you love the most, which is acting?
I think that like acknowledging small wins, which is so hard to do, but I do try to do that. And so just like kind of acknowledging progress that I've made, that helps a lot to stay. Also, just kind of like, you know, watching the things that have made me feel really emotionally affected, and like, these are the reasons why I want to be here, because I want to make things that make other people feel like this. Having that feeling again, it just sort of like reminds you of the like of your initial reasons, you know. It's very inspiring. And I suppose also when, you know, when I'm feeling like I'm working with people who don't really respect me, or like are kind of giving me like you know, and it happens, I get it. Filmmaking can be like really expensive. It can be hard. It's easy to want to like cut corners. It's easy to like not really think about how like comfort of other people, and it's not great, but like I get it. But I think of the people who I have had really great experiences with, and they make it helpful to remember that, you know, for maybe like whatever shitty experiences, shitty people that you don't want to have like that contact with again, those people that are really great made something with me and made me feel like I belonged and like I was in the right place. So I try to like remember those times, or work with those people again, or you know, just something like that kind of reinvigorates that camaraderie that film can provide if you find the right people. I mean, that's why people you see like working with like the same actors, the same teams, because like that's something everybody can enjoy when somebody jives well with you. And it really does help when you feel like shit.
Yeah, totally. Wow, that is so cool. You know, one of the things that I do love about, for example, of what you do, Izzy, and like many other people that I've interviewed, the fact that you are doing the thing that you love the most, you know, the thing that makes you happy, and as simple as it sounds, it is super difficult. But also the fact that you're creating, bringing new stuff to the table. That is, as I was mentioning before, that's something really cool, and that is something that we all should pay more attention to, because yeah, it's super cool. And at the end of the day, I mean, without actors, everything will be boring, basically, you know. So it is so cool. It is so cool what you do. Keep doing it. Keep killing it. Because I'm super sure that the fact that you're honest to it, and the fact that you are real, you know, that is really cool. And I'm super sure that eventually we're gonna basically hear from you everywhere. I mean, even here in Mexico and in Europe, perhaps, and Asia, and whole world basically, because that is so cool when you do.
From your lips to God's ears.
There you go. There you go. And also I want to thank those watching this right now. Thank you so much. If you're watching this right here, either here later on Instagram or later on YouTube, or listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure that you're following Amber in all of social media. If you already do, fantastic. What we're gonna do now, we're gonna make her viral. We're gonna make sure everybody knows about this amazing, talented actors that I'm speaking right now. Leave a million likes, share content, spread the word with friends, family, everyone you have. And the company for sure. And April, before I send you off,
yes.
I need to send you off properly again with an epic send off. So.
Oh yes, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much. I know. I'm delightful to listen to. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. And again, thank you so much. Keep having an amazing rest of the day, an amazing upcoming weekend. Keep killing it. Keep being awesome. And I'll see you in the next one.
Yes. Thank you, everybody.
All right, bye.
Bye.